So now we are going to build up the location page. So after we build country, we build states. For instance, if I go to globals, I have countries, it's working fine. I go to states, is also working fine, list of states. But if I go to locations, there is nothing there. So let's build up the list of locations at this point. So the same thing we are going to do is the same thing we did when we created the states. But one thing I want to let you know, as I mentioned, you have two drop-down lists at this point. So we are going to create that in a short time. So let's just do a whole lot of copy and paste at this point. So let's start with, let me first close everything. I'm going to just close others at this point. And let's start with opening the model and look at what is inside there. So I'm going to open the location model and look at what is inside there. So location should be related to country and be related to state, because the location should have a state, it also has a country, it has a city, it has an address, and so on. So as I mentioned, this you can remove, but I recommend you leave it. So you have location is related to state, related by state ID, and related to country by country ID. So that is fine. So the first thing we are going to copy and paste is the service. So we are going to open location service and open state service. Let's actually copy from states to location. So I'm going to go to services, and I'm going to open location service, and I'm going to open state service as well, and I'm going to simply copy across. So let me just copy from state to location and simply do find and replace, and just replace all the states with location. So I'm going to simply select location, select it, and just say Control F, find location. Location service, sorry. So we are going to search for states, find state, and replace with location. So I'm going to replace. Actually, it should be case sensitive, so just replace all. And we're also going to find the lowercase for location. So we have the lowercase for state, so this Control F, and replace it with lowercase for location. So always make sure that you click on state sensitive at this point. So I'm going to close. So, but there are some mistakes we've made. We have location service, so return location service is find all. It's going to be lowercase here, and here is going to be lowercase as well. So at this point, we are done with location service. I'm going to simply close the tool, and then let's go to the controller. I'm going to go to the controllers, and I'm going to open state controller and location controller, and I'm going to copy across and also make the changes I need to make. Location controller and state controller here. All right, so I'm going to just copy everything, not everything, just stop short of the name of the class, and I'm going to copy and up to location controller. Let me paste it here, Control V. All right, so now location has to take along with it state and country. Together with itself is going to take state and country. So states and country has to go along with location. So in addition to that, we also have to go send a list of locations. So I'm going to say auto-wired location service, private location service. All right, so the next thing, okay, so we're gonna can use Control Shift O on my keyboard. So again, we are going to replace states with location. Find state and replace with location. Okay, so I'm going to simply replace all, close. And what else? So we are also going to do the same thing with, we have location service. Okay, I'm going to correct this. So, or actually I should undo. So find state and replace with location. So there is the lowercase we are doing for now. So use replace find. So in this case we have state service. That's one we are not going to replace it. So I'm going to find the next one. So I'm going to replace this one. Replace find. Replace find. Okay, no problem. Replace find. Replace find. Replace find. Replace. 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 So all the states gonna be changed to location. Okay, that is fine. So we are sending state service times state service, and we have list of locations. Okay, so we have list of states. Is going to be coming from state service. So this is state service. Okay, and we also need to create a list of locations we are going to be sending across. List of location service, location list equal to location service dot get locations, if I'm not mistaken. I think that should be correct. So location list location is equal to, okay, so this is fine. Why do I have this? Okay, we have, so this is going to be state list. So I'm sending the list of location, list of countries, and list of countries, list of states, and list of locations. So we have, this is state, this is state, this is country, this is country, this is location, this is location. So why do we have this error? Location service. Okay, so again, we are going to add the list of states into the model. So I'm going to simply say model dot add attributes dot add attributes. So just one single attribute, and I'm going to call it locations and location list. Okay, and okay. All right. So this is we have completed the working on the controller. So why do we have these errors here? Location service the save should be correct. So let's go back to location service. I think there are some errors there. So I'm going to go back to location service. So I'm going to save location. That's fine. Okay, so we just close this one. So it's telling us, okay, so let me see. I think we should be fine at this point. So it says location service the save. Okay, so you can see state here. We are going to change it to location. So replace find. Okay, also replace find. So this is okay. So I'm going to just close. I think we should be fine at this point. State lists. Why do we have these? Okay, so this is going to be states. States. Model with other attributes, state service. So this is state list. State list. All right. So everything is added to the model. So now we are ready to go to the HTML page to work on the HTML page. So the HTML page is going to be fairly easy. So this is what we want to achieve in the HTML page. So you can actually copy across. Let's go to open the HTML page for both state and for country, for both state and location. So let's also copy from state to location. That is the HTML page we are talking about. So now I'm going to open location, and I'm going to open state. We want to steal the code. We want to steal the code from state and put it in location. So let's go down to the body. All right, so we have the sidebar. That is not what we want. We want the main content. So you can see the main content right here. We have the page header. So we only need this table right here. So we have this state, and we need to change it to location. Now instead of copying and changing it, of course you need to do it, just copy and paste and then change. I'm going to simply copy the ready-made one. So basically when you copy across, you simply change the state to location and stuff like that. So I'm going to simply copy the ready-made one and paste it. So I'm going to only replace the table part of it. So I'm going to replace the table part of this page. So this is actually the ready-made one. So this is a table. So I'm just going to replace. I'm going to remove. We're talking about the location, not states. So let's close this state so that we don't make any mistake. So let's scroll down, scroll down. Okay, so this is the main content. This is the there is a body, there is a page starts, page ends. So this is where we are going to put in the table. Okay, so just not to confuse you, let me open back the state again. Let me show you what you need to copy across. Actually, I'm going to copy it across at this point. If you scroll down, you see page starts. From page starts, you copy everything there to page ends. So basically everything from page starts to page ends, and copy it and then paste. Copy and paste it in location. You have page start, you have page ends, and then remove whatever is there and just paste it. All right. But now this is for states, but we need for location. So what you can do is simply change up all these items. For instance, if you go to the model, you can look for the location and look for you can see address, city, country, country ID, description and details, and state. So there is no capital, there is no code and stuff like that. So you need to adjust all this yourself. Now I've already done it, so I'm simply going to paste what I already did. So I'm going to paste it at this point, just paste, control, sorry, so I'm only pasting the table, I'm going to paste, control V, okay, good. So this corresponds to the location, so you can see the location, so this makes call to the location, all right? So we have location ID, city address, we have location ID, city address, all the stuffs here, and okay, so, but when you are displaying the table, you actually will not have to display all the fields. Now the next thing we want to copy across is the model. So there is the add model, the edit model, we have the add model, the edit model. So copy across the add model, edit model, and delete model. So I've already done it and I've already made the changes. So I'm simply going to copy the modified one, and then I'll allow you to copy the remaining ones yourself, to make the changes yourself, or you can open my repository and find the code yourself and then use it for free. So location service. So just before the end of the Java, before the beginning of the ending JavaScript, I'm going to paste all the models, but I also add details model here. So okay, so if I go here, if I go to the page here, you can see location. If you say add, you can see two drop down lists are there. So if I go to my page, if I go to, you have this drop down list and the name is DDL country edit, name is country ID. So the name has to correspond to the name you have in your field, and also to select the state in the drop down, you need the state ID as well. I already explained this to you, and we have the for each state in states. This state is coming from the model. Remember, we added the model. We added into the controller the list of states coming here. All right. If you have any challenges, leave me a comment and I'm going to respond to you. All right. So we have edit model and we have the add model as well. As I mentioned before, I also added the details model, but this I might actually remove it since we have not written any code for the details model. So the next thing that is left is to maybe we can test it before we continue. After testing it, we now try to work on the JavaScript code for locations. So while it's trying to run, let me just go to static and open the JS file, and I'm going to copy the states and save it as location.js. So I'm going to copy state.js and save it as location.js. So I'm going to copy state.js and right click here and say paste, and I'm going to call it location.js. All right, so this script is for location, only for location. All right, so I think everything started. So if we go back to our page, so this is our page. If I go to globals, go to location, and now you can see that the location gives option new states. Actually, it should be new location, so we are going to correct it. But for now, we don't have anything. Let's try to insert something. So let's just insert anything, whatever is there. So states, whatever. So I'm going to save, just see if everything works. So everything works. So the state actually inserted perfectly well. I mean the location inserted perfectly well. All right. But we need to change the caption of this button to new location. So insertion does not have to do with JavaScript. So the problem with JavaScript is actually coming from the edit. So we need to write the JavaScript to be able to work with the edit and also to work with the delete to be able to display the pop-up for the delete. Meanwhile, let me just add back the state I added before. So that makes it easier for us. Place, whatever. Okay, add it. But now we don't have any pop-up coming up for this. Let's now work on this. I'm going to go to the JavaScript for location and state, and I'm going to adjust it. So let's open the JavaScript for states and open the JavaScript for location as well. JavaScript file for location. I think I did save it. JKL should be somewhere here. Yeah. So this JavaScript file for location, you actually need to change up all of this. So this is the only place you need to make changes, only this place. And also you need to change the state to location. So I already have made all these changes. So I'm going to simply copy and paste. So for you, just so I'm simply going to copy and paste it. So let's see. So I'm going to paste it. So I have a ID, city, address, that corresponds to location. And here instead of state here, you are going to say location. All right. So just in case, if you want the details, I'm going to also add it. But this step I'm taking now, maybe you may not take it unless you know exactly what you are doing, because I want to talk about the details a little later. So in this case, when the details button is clicked, it's going to fill up, it's going to create, pop up the details view and display all the items in the details. All right, so at this point, we want to test it and see, and we should be able to edit a location at this point. So I'm going to run. Well, let me just search to see if I have states here. Let me just find state ID is okay there. Okay. Let's search for the uppercase. Find state edit is okay. It's okay there. Okay, perfect. So let's go to try now. Let me refresh this page and let me start by adding a new state. Whatever it is, just add something good. I'm going to select Budapest. I'm going to save. So we have two states here. I'm going to try to edit and it doesn't edit. So we have a problem. Actually, I have not refreshed, have I? Okay, so we have a problem here. So we've not added the JavaScript file to the state.html. Don't forget it. Each time you need to remember to add the JavaScript file. So let's go to the location HTML and add the JavaScript file to handle the location. So let's just go down to the end of the page. So simply copy this, copy and paste, and simply the name of the file is location.js. I think we call it location.js. All right, so we have location.js. Let me just make sure that the name is correct. Location.js. Let's see, location.js. All right, so we have location.js, and that's fine. So let me save everything. I'm going to rerun it, and let's test it and see that we can add a new location and actually edit and delete location as well. All right, so I'm going to refresh this page and refresh, and I'm going to click on edit. So So you can see that the ID is not in this one. So I'm going to simply say ID is equal to edit button. Okay. That's where the problem is coming from. I'm going to save everything and ID is edit button. I'm going to rerun the application. So if I click on edit at this point, so if we have it can edit, so I can change address is okay. So the country, the state, let's change the state to, or can I change the description here or the city? I don't even remember what I clicked. So I click the first one where the ID is 2. So let me change the city to Lehel. I don't, there's nothing like that, but let me just change it. Yeah. So you can see it changed to Lehel. So we've completed the location page. We can add, edit, and delete location. Again, if I try to delete and okay, so so again, let's try to delete. If I click on the delete, it displays yes, delete, and it does not delete. All right, so we can see that the delete button is also working. So if I click on delete, yes, delete, it deletes the item. So we are done with the location, and the next one we are going to consider. Maybe we can try to do employee. That is a bit tasking, or we can do vehicle. That's also tasking. If you have challenges, let me know by leaving a comment, and let's continue working on this.